If you love seeing a bunch of new products from a variety of different brands before you buy them, this video series is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel, and today's video is the latest episode of my favorite YouTube series, New and Must-Have Crafty Supplies, where I try out a bunch of new products from the new product list and share the ones that I love with you. The fun thing about today's video is somehow all of these different products from different brands really worked well together. I have everything from a new embossing folder from Altenew, new champagne Stardust Butter from the Crafter's Workshop, something called Cosmic Shimmer Puffy Stuff from Creative Expressions, a new pattern paper pad from My Favorite Things, and new dies and sentiment strips from Simon Says Stamp. Let me show you these new products and try them out. First up, this is the My Favorite Things Wildflowers pattern paper pad. This is a 6x6 pattern paper pad, single-sided. You get two each of each design. What I love about My Favorite Things pattern paper pads is their colors and their designs. They tend to have very versatile designs that can be used in lots of different ways. Usually I buy things like grids, dots, stripes, but I couldn't get over these flowers. I love them and I love the bright colors, so I thought they'd be fun to try out. Next up, we have the Echo Park 6x6 stencil. It's called Simple Snow Stencil. What I like about this is that it definitely could be used for the holidays, but I think that snow pattern actually looks pretty abstract and could be used for lots of different cards as well. So I'm going to tape it with some pixie tape to the back of some 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch white cardstock, and then I'm just going to ink blend some Distress Oxide ink in Kitsch Flamingo over top to show you that it does not have to be a snowy color. It can be a nice bright pink, and you can create this really kind of fun pattern with it that obviously could be snow, could be glittery if you wanted it to, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but just that this is a really fun pattern that's versatile enough to be used throughout the year. So check out those cute little simple snow stencil patterns there created with the pink. Okay, this is the Altenew tiled chevron embossing folder, and this is a nice geometric embossing folder, very versatile. So it says that it's 3D on it, but it is not as thick as some of my other 3D embossing folders. So I ended up actually doing the traditional embossing folder sandwich with my universal platform. I did try it first with the 3D adapter plate, but I didn't need it. It's a thinner embossing folder, but look at that pattern. Comes out nice and crisp and just such a fun look. So I also decided to emboss a piece of white cardstock so just you could get to see both sides are really cool, so you can use either side to showcase that really cool pattern. Next up, we have the Crafter's Workshop Champagne Stardust Butter. So look at all that glitter in there. What I like about it is that it is all mixed together, the color and the glitter, and it's a nice gel, so it goes on really smoothly, and you can see there that I was able to really get a nice smooth application just using the Tonic Studio spatula. It says that it does dry dimensional as well and adds some texture, so I thought I would try that, just adding a little bit of texture with the spatula to see how this would dry. But I really love the color and I love that glitter. That really fine glitter adds lots of shine. So I thought I would try it over the stencil. Just move the stencil over to the right so it's next to the pink snowflakes that I already had on there. I'm going to put a little bit of that Stardust Butter on my Thermoweb stencil pal. That really helps me get a nice even coverage, and that means that it'll all be the same height. It will dry evenly as well, and there's less waste too because you're getting that even coverage throughout. So I love the way that this looks. There's lots of shine to it. And then lastly, I thought I would try it with a domed foam blender. So I just put a bunch on the domed foam blender, and then I am applying it over the embossed Altenew 3D embossed tiled chevron pattern there. So you can see those lines show up when you put some color over top of the white embossed background there. So I thought this would be a fun way to create kind of a glittery champagne or gold looking background with that cool chevron pattern as well. This is the Cosmic Shimmer Fluffy Stuff from Creative Expressions. You can see it's got kind of a liquid, but like a thick liquid application, and there's a nice thin applicator point that can make lines, dots, swirls, whatever you want. You could write letters. So this is kind of like a puffy paint where after you apply it, you use some heat from your heat tool, and you just want to be careful not to hold the heat tool on there for too long because you will scorch it, and with such a light color you'll be able to see that scorching. So you just a little bit of heat at a time, and you'll start to see it puff up and create this really cool texture that is kind of like that puff snow that you can get to add to cards. But I really thought with the color here too, it is pretty neat. This is very unique looking, and you could do a lot of fun mixed media with this. Of course, I'm going to add it to cards. The other thing is when you heat set it, it does dry it as well. So it's nice and dimensional. Next up, we have the Simon Says Stamp BU sentiment strips. These are pretty self-explanatory. I don't have to show you how these guys work. And we also have from Simon Says Stamp the Lemon Zest dies. I love lemons, so whenever I see dies or stamps, I always grab them. This is a fun die set because there are layers to it, but they're real simple layers. So you have the flowers and flower centers, there's leaves and stems, and then this piece is kind of a layer for the lemon so that it creates a dimensional look to that otherwise flat lemon. So I cut it out of two different colors of yellow cardstock from the stamp market, and then I'm just going to adhere some white cardstock behind the lemon where those little shine marks are. So I think that looks really cute as well. So these are all the items that I'm going to be working with today and making some cards with as well. Now let's use these new products to make a few cards. So for this card, I have a embossed piece of cardstock. So that blue was embossed with the Altenew embossing folder. I cut it down so that I could layer it over some of the My Favorite Things pattern paper. I used the Simon Says Stamp sentiment strips to get a sentiment that says good vibes only. And then I'm putting together two of the lemons from the Simon Says Stamp lemon zest dies to create the image on the card. So you can see how easy it is to just add the leaves anywhere you want on the stems, and then use the second part of that stem to attach to the lemon. So really, really easily you are able to create a cute little cluster. And then if you have anything that you want to cover up, those little flowers are perfect for that. So quick and easy card, so much fun, love the colors, and just love the whole theme of it. Okay, for this card, I am holding in place a piece of yellow pattern paper over my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of blue and white pattern paper from the pad. And I'm doing that so that I don't put any of the puffy stuff on flowers that are going to be underneath that. I want that to lay flat. So once I get all my puffy flower centers on there, I am just going to heat set them. Just remember again to just do it a little bit of heat at a time so that you don't scorch those flower centers. And you can see they really puff up nicely. They get very dimensional pretty quickly. So once that was done, I re-adhered that strip of the yellow pattern paper on that right hand side, and then just a piece of foam tape behind one of the sentiments from those sentiment strips. Love those sentiment strips, how easy they are to complete a card with a nice sentiment. Okay, so I'd already cut the lemon out of cardstock. This time I cut it out of pattern paper. I think that's a really cute look too, and just gives you a totally different look to your die set. So if you have dies like this that are kind of paper piece dies or layering dies, you can definitely cut them out of cardstock, but it is fun to mix it up and cut them out of pattern paper. Once again, I did emboss that white piece of cardstock and layered it over some pattern paper. And now I'm just going to put my lemon together. This time, instead of 2 lemons, I have 1 lemon. So I have just 1 stem, and I'm going to put the lemon down first, popped up on some foam squares there. This time I didn't back it with any white cardstock because it is over some white cardstock. So just add that stem, the leaf, the flower. I did die cut out of a piece of pattern paper that had a flower right in the center. And then that sentiment, enjoy every moment. The sentiments are so great. They're so easy to use, and they really help you quickly create a card. Okay, for this one, I'm going to cut out one of the larger sentiments, and I've done this in a former video, but just as a reminder, these are printed in toner, and toner applies foil in a laminator with deco foils, with Thermoweb iCraft deco foils. So I have some foil with the color side up, silver side down inside a carrier sheet through my laminator, which was nice and hot. And once it comes out the other side, peel and reveal, and you get a foiled sentiment. So that really ups the game. This is really great with the larger sentiments where the foil can really attach there. Okay, so here's the dried champagne Stardust Butter with the pink Distress Oxide with the double stencil there. I love that background. See, I would use that all throughout the year. I just think it's fun. So I'm going to use the foiled Dream Big sentiment there to complete that card. And I really love this pattern paper. I just had to use it. So I thought, cut it down a little smaller than I normally would so that you can see that gold embossed background that we created with the domed foam over the embossed white cardstock. Okay, I did cut a foam tape piece in half to make it thin enough to sit behind this particular sentiment. So once I straighten that out, sometimes it warps a little bit. Once I straightened it out, I am just going to put this right down. Don't have to do much more than that. That pattern paper is just wowza gorgeous. I love it. And really all these cards came together so quickly because everything worked so well together. Like I mentioned, I was just so surprised at how well these different products from different brands work together. But I'd love to hear if you had a favorite today. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy seeing these new and must-have crafty supplies videos and you want to see other card making tips, tricks, techniques, and product reviews, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so you can be notified every single time I have a new video available. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Champagne Starbust. Okay. Okay. Stop. New Champagne Starbust. Stop. Oh. Stardust. It's Stardust Butter.